The liminal phase, a state of transition between one stage and the next, especially between major stages in one's life or during a rite of passage. It is an in-between space, sometimes uncomfortable, yet full of learning. It is the space on the verge of something new, somewhere on the edge of sleeping and waking, waiting and becoming, between what was and what will be.
Fletcher, Cummings, Maggs.
Please, don't let your own lack of forgiveness enable you to negatively reflect upon your time, but most importantly, the people at Condom. Everyone, this is a wonderful and significant era of our life, and we deserve to remember each other. Thank you.
I seeked adventure. The type of adventure that drives you out of your hometown. It encourages you to do things differently than everyone else, like go straight to college. Adventure that makes you chase your dreams. On November 9th, 2022, myself and my friend Malachi would fly to Kathmandu, Nepal on one-way plane tickets. Driven by, of course, adventure and curiosity of the world and ourselves. Bircha! Oh my God! So good to see you! Bring it in! I'd been to Nepal before. It was 8 months prior, on a charity trip trekking to Mount Everest Base Camp. It was absolutely life-changing for me, and looking back, it's no surprise that the travel bug caught quickly. Around a dozen of us had begun our journey. 5 days trekking to Annapurna Base Camp, 3 days back down. Including both friends from home, friends from Nepal, and people I had just met. We made a strong team. Mono. Comprehending time has always been the strangest thing to me. How something can feel so long ago, but at the same time you think about it in a different way, and it feels like it was yesterday. I couldn't believe it had already been 10 days since I left home. Yet, among the numerous memories and stories within those 10 days, so many interactions, new friends, straight up culture shock, and watching every single sunrise and every single sunset for a week in the biggest mountains of the world. In that context, I couldn't believe it had only been 10 days. After playing basketball with the locals on our final evening, the next morning we had our last day of trekking. At the end of the final and endless bridge, our jeep waited for us to bring us back to the city.
Great adventure! This was a good start.
We had bought a one-way plane ticket to Bangkok, Thailand, with an intentional 48-hour layover in Delhi, India. The 14 days spent in Nepal were a part of an organized group. It was time to take another stride of independence. Malachi and I were on our own now. When I landed in India, I was fascinated, excited. But the stress of traveling and being pretty much all alone in a foreign place hit very quickly. I looked on a map while our taxi driver drove us continuously farther and farther away from our destination. Continuously, I tried to get him to go in the right direction, but the language barrier was tough, and honestly, I think he knew what he was doing. Eventually, he went the right way, and we made it to our place after about an hour, but we were completely scammed, paid way too much money. Truthfully, in the moment, I didn't care about the money. I was really glad to be in the hotel, and really scared to leave it the next day. It scared me that it had only been 15 days, and I already wanted to go home. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Amazing. Breakfast.
On the road or?
How was it?
10 out of 10.
The food was incredible. I was experiencing a culture and a city so different from home and so different than anywhere I'd ever been before. And we even had a free place to stay through a connection we made in Nepal. I couldn't believe how little money we were spending, an aspect of our trip that frequently stressed me out. We were spending sometimes as little as $1 a meal, eating out at both restaurants and trying the local street food. So many reasons to be celebrating, but something was just very off. We were energyless. Doing some of the things I'd usually love, I wasn't enjoying as much. I was living my dream and really couldn't figure out what was missing. And so we left Bangkok to the northern regions, in the mountains. My quest of exploring this country continued, yet I found myself in the midst of an internal battle, searching for what it'll take for me to feel like myself again as I continue this journey. And so began hostel life. Sleeping in dorm rooms filled with other people, usually a common area, sometimes a kitchen. I liked how it felt more homey than a hotel. I loved being able to meet people from all over the world. I met a lot of outgoing people, although I wasn't really one of them yet. The country of Thailand is 94% Buddhist. We were currently exploring what can be known as the cultural capital. We learned about how Buddhism can be a philosophy for how to live one's life. Virtues such as nonviolence, compassion. This way of moral living is partially why I felt so much safer in Thailand than I did most American cities. Not to mention how kind and hospitable the people were. So over there, that's Laos, Myanmar, I'll never forget the day we rented our first motorbike. For two 18-year-olds in a foreign country dying to be explored, it was dangerously awesome.
God, that was smooth as butter. No, this is pretty brutal right now. But we're surviving. You know? It's all gonna be worth it when we see that fucking sunrise. Until we don't, until it's cloudy. Forecast said good weather all week. But about 50 miles.
I'd thought of visiting southern Thailand for a long time before my arrival. If you've ever seen The Hangover Part 2, or The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio, you'd recognize this section of the Thai coast. We were on a boat with a couple of locals, but mostly fellow travelers from all over the world. We explored local islands, snorkeled, but mostly just had a good time getting to know each other. Steps and steps and steps and more steps. So, that kicked my ass.
ทูบเทียนทองสองมือถือไว้ตั้งใจวันทาทูบเทียนทองสองมือถือไว้ตั้งใจวันทาน้อมเคารพบูชาพระศาสดาของชาวพุทธน้อมเคารพบูชาพระศาสดาของชาวพุทธ
Kira aku mau beli juga. Ale.
We had late nights with our two new friends, Eddie and Philip from Germany. The best way I can really explain it is, like a teacher to a student, they taught us how to have a great time. Eventually, it was time to leave this place. 23 days we've been in Thailand. It was an emotional roller coaster that taught me a lot about myself. I had to say goodbye to new friends in a place that I had found great comfort. However, I had a newly found optimism. I was able to appreciate the nerves, the butterflies, and even the doubts, to recognize that this was part of the surrealness.
Gili Islands, which is kind of like the party island around here. Yeah. Like, you just walk along.
Bali has beaches, volcanoes, rainforests, and we were taking in all of it. The evening of December 18th was the night of the World Cup final. If there's anything I know at this point, it's that football is culture. The truth is, some things are just so universal, a language barrier doesn't mean shit. We checked into a very social hostel. The place was a little bit disgusting, but the people and the social atmosphere was incredible. It was my favorite.
I gotta get a car, right? How long should we
This was our new very good friend Niels from Norway. And our friend Daniel, who was traveling with Niels. Woo! Niels and Daniel, I really miss you guys. Along with having a couple very late fun nights, I met a really pretty girl. And I didn't think I'd ever see her again. I woke up on my first ever Christmas morning, away from home and my family, with not a single plan. We overheard a group of people talking about going on an adventure throughout the island. We asked if we could join, and they said yeah.
Vamonos! After you!
coming?
Take 4
places on the east side.
Diamond Beach, Giriputri is there a
So
place?
I haven't been to the cave. If you want, let's see how we feel after hiking down and hiking back.
Malachi and I were unable to ride our motorbike well enough to keep up, so we did some rearranging.
Like video and photo. Yeah. Tell me how to edit videos. Oh, I can help you out, brother.
You ready to go? You got this.
I will follow you.
Okay, yeah, just follow me.
Let them all finish taking their pictures.
Instagram or in the water. Come on, I want to see it.
Prakash, Trish, Ashish, Honey, and Gautam, thank you for one of the most memorable Christmases of my entire life. Although it felt wrong, it was time to leave. As I looked back at the 12 days in Bali, I couldn't stop smiling. This feeling was the reason I came here, the reason I chose to travel this year. And I was going to make the most of every second I had left. All these people we were meeting started to lead to building connections. Accommodation in Sydney, Australia during New Year's was quite expensive. Claire, Liz, and Matt, thank you. A new continent, a new house we had to ourselves. But the biggest win was a new friend. Zach, aka Burger, had joined us from home. It was just 3 18-year-old guys, thousands of miles from home. The world's our oyster.
throughout the year, and we do look forward to welcoming you back on board Qantas again soon.
One more passport stamp as I landed in another bucket list location. It was starting to get surreal that I was going home soon, and this was the last country I'd be visiting. When we landed, we slept in the airport, but I couldn't sleep. I was just too damn excited for the road trip that we had ahead of us. At this point, we've been in New Zealand for over a week, and time was absolutely flying. The beauty was I was completely free of stress in the most gorgeous place in the world. I was really able to live in the moment. Hiking, swimming, taking photos. These were my favorite things to do.
Boys, let's make a stop. I want to take a picture.
It's crazy to think there was a time during this trip I wasn't really enjoying it. Days in a row where I felt empty. It's a super scary thought when it seems like your dreams are not what you thought they were. But now I know that even the darkest days had their purpose in shaping my journey. Just as stars shine brightest on the darkest nights, your challenges and struggles are what make your successes truly shine. I knew from the start I was here to learn new things about myself, and it would not be possible without persevering. I had to persevere through the tough days before I learned how dependent I am on the energy of other people. Shared laughter, heartfelt conversation, and moments of empathy is where I've found my own richness of living. What now, you may say? Well, I remember thinking as I looked over the most beautiful view I'd ever seen, reflecting upon the most memorable times of my life, one thing was for certain. I wanted to keep living a life where I allowed myself to do what made me happy, what my heart desires, to explore this planet. And I was going to do it again really soon. There's this amazing saying, are we living or are we existing? So many people forget to live, and they only exist. My name is Fletcher. I'm 18 years old, and I plan on living.
I've been home for a little bit over a month, and I'm leaving again.